Debate. The Honourable Member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to speak on my private member Bill C-237, an act to establish a national framework for diabetes in Canada. I would also like to thank the member from Winnipeg North for seconding the motion to introduce my bill. I couldn't be happier to be debating my bill during November, which, as many of you may know, is Diabetes Awareness Month. Madam Speaker, over 11 million Canadians live with diabetes or prediabetes. A new case is diagnosed every 3 minutes, and 90% of these cases are type 2, which means they can be prevented through better awareness, education, and lifestyle changes. This disease is the cause of 30% of strokes, 40% of heart attacks, 50% of kidney failure requiring dialysis, and 70% of non-traumatic lower limb amputations. This is the harsh reality. In the Peel region alone, which I'm proud to call home, the rate of diabetes more than doubled between 1996 and 2015. Some Canadians are at increased risk of diabetes, such as South Asians, Indigenous population, Métis people. We also know that diabetes disproportionately affects Canadians with low income and education. Complex public health challenges, such as chronic diseases like diabetes, cannot be addressed with a single solution approach. No organization, institution, or sector of society acting alone can solve this challenge. All segments of society, communities, academia, government, the charitable and not-for-profit sector, and the private sector must work together if we are to be successful. That is why this bill mandates that the Minister of Health work in collaboration with provincial health leaders, Indigenous communities, and other stakeholders to develop a national framework designed to support improved access to diabetes prevention and treatment to ensure better health outcomes for Canadians. In many cases, diabetes is preventable. We know that individuals who have moderate to high level of physical activity, who eat a healthy diet, and who do not smoke are 82% less likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. Having been a healthcare professional for over 18 years, I have seen firsthand how a healthy diet, staying active, and exercising can all contribute to the prevention of this disease. Let us combat diabetes and its life-threatening complications by making Canadians familiar with diabetes warning signs, encouraging healthy lifestyle choices, and making it possible to access the best possible care. It is estimated that this year the cost of hospital care and drugs for diabetes amounts to approximately $30 billion. This is a massive burden on our public healthcare system, but the costs do not really end there. Whenever a Canadian suffers a stroke or a heart attack, that is an additional cost of our health system. That may result in long-term costs. When a Canadian experiences kidney failure, that requires dialysis, that costs. When a Canadian tragically has to undergo amputation, that costs. The secondary cost that diabetes has on our public budgets cannot be calculated. But every dollar spent preventing it means greater saving down the line. And so many of these complications are preventable with proper care, Madam Speaker. When I was first elected in 2015, it has been a goal of mine to bring the issues of Canadians living with diabetes to Ottawa and to elevate the issue of diabetes as a whole. I have been honored to serve as a chair of the All-Party Diabetes Caucus, where we have heard from diabetes advocates, stakeholders, and organizations to gain a better understanding of how the federal government can support Canadians living with diabetes. In 2017, I traveled extensively to consult medical professionals and stakeholders about how best to meet the need of those suffering from diabetes. This gave me even greater insight into how diabetes impacted communities in different regions of Canada. The result of this was the publication of the report Defeating Diabetes, which promotes healthy eating as a prevention method. That same year, I represented Canada at the Global Diabetes Policy Forum in Rome, Italy, where 38 countries were represented, and we spoke about the best way to tackle this growing issue. I also attended the World Congress of Diabetes in Calcutta. Through engagement with international leaders, we were able to compare research and assess our commitment to the fight against diabetes. One other important aspect of diabetes I learned on these international travels is how well respected Canada is on the world stage when it comes to diabetes, especially on insulin invention. I hope that Canada will continue to be global leader in the fight to defeat diabetes for years to come. Locally, I successfully advocated for the city of Brampton to proclaim November as a Diabetes Awareness Month and the 14th as Diabetes Day. In 2018, the All-Party Diabetes Caucus engaged fellow parliamentarians to participate in Diabetes Day on the Hill to raise awareness of diabetic risks to Canadians and to build support for an updated, comprehensive national diabetes strategy. A diabetes mobile screening unit was brought in to emphasize prevention and encourage testing. This was an opportunity for all members of parliament to get first-hand experience in understanding the aspects of diabetes. Nearly 100 of us accepted a challenge to wear the step counter and log our efforts for 10 days to raise awareness of our health. This spring, I was able to virtually participate in several meetings and town halls with Diabetes Canada about how Canadians living with diabetes have been affected by COVID-19, while people with diabetes are not more likely to catch COVID-19. If they do get it, adults living with diabetes are at greater risk of developing serious symptoms and complications. More recent data from Alberta shows that 42% of Albertans who have died of COVID-19 also had diabetes. Those who are infected with the virus are more likely to suffer serious cardiac and respiratory complications that face mortality 4 times that of those without diabetes. Madam Speaker, as many members of this House know, back in the spring of 2019, I was proud to bring forward the unanimously supported motion to declare November as Diabetes Awareness Month in Canada. But there is so much more to do than raise awareness. The World Health Organization recommends that every country implements a national framework for diabetes. Last April, the Standing Committee on Health tabled a report which gave multiple recommendations. Among them, the committee asked that the government consider a framework for a diabetes strategy for Canada. This comprehensive report already outlined the steps that the government should take in the fight against diabetes. When we are undergoing this study, we heard a great deal about the mental health issues that are common among people living with diabetes. Those living with the type 2 diabetes are more at risk for depression. We have heard examples of them being stigmatized and bullied. There are overall signs of greater risk of mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. At the Health Committee, we heard from one individual living with diabetes who spoke openly about the anxiety and the stigma she felt around the disease in her family. She said, "In my family, there are 35 diabetics, and we do not talk about it. I have to do my blood sugar under the table when I visit to my mother. We don't discuss it, and they don't treat it. Last year, I lost my uncle to it because they just won't treat. They won't admit to it. They don't want to deal with it because the stigma is so bad." There's a strong need to reduce the stigma associated with the diabetes. Reducing messaging that blame patients for their diabetes is an important first step to take. Early detection of diabetes can prevent complication and reducing the strain on the healthcare system. The Health Committee also heard some shocking stats about diabetes and Indigenous communities. Diabetes rates are 3 to 4 times higher among First Nations than among the general Canadian population. And many Indigenous peoples are at increased risk of developing diabetes. Furthermore, Indigenous individuals are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at a younger age than other individuals. Those living in a First Nation community who are in their 20s have an 80% chance of developing the disease during their lifetimes, compared to 50% among the rest of the population of the same age. The Canadian Indigenous Nurses Association identifies several factors as to why this is the case. The geographical isolation, lack of healthcare services, poor internet connectivity to facilitate distance care, and reduced access to nutritious food all contribute to the prevalence of diabetes in Indigenous communities. The Health Committee also recommend that the federal government hold discussions with the provinces to explore possible approaches to providing uniform coverage of diabetes-related medications, supplies, and equipment across Canada, equipment like Lancet and many others. As it stands now, each province provides different coverage for different aspects of diabetes treatment, meaning those living with the diabetes receive uneven support depending on where they live. All levels of government must work together to find a solution to improving access to a family physician and or other health services living with diabetes in rural, remote, and northern communities. As I mentioned previously, my community in Brampton and the Peel region face a high rate of diabetes compared to the rest of the country. However, locally, we have some true diabetes champions working to reverse this course. I would like to appreciate the role of the private sector stakeholder based in Brampton, which do phenomenal work helping those with the diabetes, Medtronic and DynaCare, who provide testing services and device to help people manage their illness. The DynaCare for Diabetes Wellness campaign just launched in our city. The goal of this campaign is encourage Bramptonian to assess their risk and get tested to see if they are at risk of diabetes by providing the A1 test free of charge. Medtronic is doing commendable work to providing compassionate care for our residents living with diabetes. I would like to thank Laura Siren, the president of Diabetes Canada, and their federal affairs director, Kimberly Hansen. I have been proud of work alongside with them raising awareness, including helping them with multilingual communication material for multicultural communities. I would also like to thank JDRF, Canada's leading type 1 diabetes advocacy organization, for all the support and advice they have provided over the years, and they endorsed my bill too. I'm so proud to have support on this bill from organizations and individuals such as the CNIB Foundation, Peel Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Lawrence Lowe, and Dr. Naveed Mohammed of William Osler Hospital, and many more. Thank you to the Brampton City Council who have officially endorsed this bill. Madam Speaker, Canada has repeatedly been the home of some of the biggest breakthrough in diabetes care and research. 20 years ago, Dr. Shapiro at the University of Alberta was on the team of researchers who developed the Edmonton Protocol and islet transplant procedure, and temporarily reversed diabetes and allowed patients to be insulin independent. Just last week, it was reported that his team may be on their way to finding an actual cure of diabetes. This work is in an early stages. In 1961, Canadian scientists discovered stem cells. And of course, next year will mark the 100th anniversary of Sir Frederick Banting's historic discovery of insulin right here in Canada. 2 weeks ago, the World Diabetes Day, I was in London, Ontario to participate in the ceremony to rekindle the flame of hope. This flame has been burning brightly and will continue to do so until we find the cure for diabetes. It stands as a symbol of Canadian innovation. So I hope that it will be Canadian team of researchers who will be one day be able to extinguish this flame. Bill C-237 will change the lives of those 11 million Canadians living with diabetes from coast to coast to coast. By working together, I'm confident that one day we will extinguish the torch at Banting House. I know that together we'll find a way to defeat diabetes. I encourage all members in this House to join me in supporting the improvement of the lives of millions of Canadians across our country. Madam Speaker, Canada gave insulin to the world. There's no reason why we cannot lead the way to defeat diabetes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.